Today we're talking about 5 qualities the INFJ needs in a partner in order to have a loving, successful relationship. There are those common traits that, are discussed in mainstream media that are necessary in order to have a happy relationship. Like be faithful, be loyal, be understanding, be supportive. But the truth is that INFJs already know these things. And most of the time we're focused on, being a good partner and being giving towards others. And so the question arises, why doesn't it work out so often? Why do so many INFJs, get into the same kind of situations where the other person doesn't really fit into our lives? They don't want to be in our lives. There's always some kind of problem. And the truth is that we just have to come to terms with the fact that we need very specific qualities. And once you're aware of those qualities, you can really make that your go-to and not allow anybody in the potential pile if they're not, living those qualities. And so this can save you a lot of heartache, a lot of time, and you can actually start focusing on meeting people who meet that criteria. And if you're already in a relationship, you can actually make sure that those qualities that you need are put a little bit more to the forefront. Before we get started, remember, if you haven't done this so far, to download the free poster on the INFJ Epic Life formula. And if you want to take it to the next level, then get the INFJ Epic Life audio guide. Everything you need to know you can find in the links in the description. Quality number 1, you need someone who can give you space. So this is actually not very evident, because what does that mean that somebody can give you space? Let me ask you this. How often have you met somebody and there was a connection, and then for some reason, after a couple of days, that person got mad at you? They probably got mad at you because you took your space. You took your time. You weren't directly, I need you now to be here all the time. I need to talk to you all the time. And we don't even know what happened. This should be a red flag from the beginning. You need space, and you need somebody who can live with that. So it's not even a question of, that person has to accept the fact that I need a lot of space and time for myself, but they also have to be, emotionally and psychologically able to handle that. Not everybody can. And if you know that you need that kind of person, you can actually stop interactions rather quickly and not waste your time, your heart, and effort and brain power of what went wrong. You already know, in order to have a successful, happy relationship, I need somebody who can deal with the fact that I need a lot of space. Quality number 2, you need somebody who you can share your truth with. So this does not necessarily mean that you need to have a relationship with an introvert, or that you have to have a relationship with, an intuitive or a feeler or anything like that, because there's so many theories out on what type is best for the INFJ. Maybe they need another INFJ, or they need the opposite, like the ESTP. And so there's so many theories. But what I have found is that you just need somebody who you can be yourself around with. And that means that you bring out all of those parts of yourself that a lot of people have problems with. So I know that I hit so many parts of me, things that were important to me, the ways how I like to be really honest about my feelings and going really deep, and cutting all of that nonsense about we're just pretending like we're here because we talk to each other. No, the fact is we're meeting because we're looking for a long-term relationship, and I want there to be something meaningful behind this. I'm not going into this with let's see what's happening. These kind of things. And this is me. I'm not saying every INFJ is like that. What I'm saying is that every INFJ needs to be able to live out their truth and to bring out all of those areas of themselves that make them them. And so many people have a really strong reaction to that. What do most INFJs think when they have a reaction like this? They need to convince the other person that, they're not that bad. You know why this is happening? This is happening because we haven't accepted parts of ourselves. We actually want the other person to tell us, you're okay despite this part of you. I know this is an unattractive part of your personality, but I still love you. And so we actually get attached to people like this. We do this because in early childhood on, very often those parts of ourselves weren't accepted. But if we want to have a fulfilled relationship, we need to be able to bring those parts of ourselves out, and the other person has to stand it. That's it. They don't have to love it, but they have to be able to look at those parts of ourselves that are a necessity of our personality, that are part of what makes us us, that is part of our unique and beautiful being, and to be okay with that. And if that person is not, if they run, if they have a strong reaction to that, then this has to be a sign for us that this is not the person for us. Stop trying to convince them that you're actually good. Know that you're good. And if they can't handle it, then those people do not belong in your life like that. Quality number 3, you need somebody who can go against the grain. So you as an INFJ will evidently take steps that are not part of what everybody does. We don't do the default things. And if we do them, it's because we feel obligated to do them. It's not what we're looking for when it comes to relationships, when it comes to us living out our truth. And it's not something that we can just live by and feel, fulfilled. If we want to feel fulfilled, we need to be able to do things that will allow us to step out of the box. We need to do the things that will challenge us. We need to try out things that are not like what everybody else is doing. This is who we are. And in order to do that, we also need people who can do that for themselves. Because then they recognize this within us. They rather encourage us to do this. They allow us to, take those steps, do the things that not everybody's doing. And that's when things are working out really well. So when you're looking for partnerships, you will probably already recognize that you will be attracted to people who already have this quality about them. They're taking the road less traveled. They're doing something that not everybody's doing. Maybe not everybody recognizes it, but you do. So if you know that this is something that is necessary for you to live a happy life, then you can not only live it out more for yourself, but you can encourage it in your partner, in your potential partner, and you can make it a point that this is something that you want in your life. Because I promise you, if you have somebody who lives out by all the rules, by what everybody else is doing, you will have a problem with that because that person won't accept the fact that you're doing something out of the box. And please don't look at personality types or anything like this because my husband, for example, is an ISTJ. He does a lot of things, by the book. But he's made choices in his life that just show me, okay, that's a person who, goes by their own thing. They know what they want. They're not looking left and right what other people think they should be doing. They're doing what they think is right for them. And because of that, they're more likely to be totally open and supportive of the INFJ doing their thing. Quality number 4, the INFJ needs somebody who wants to grow. If you have a person in your life who doesn't have an ambition in one way or another, it will always pull the INFJ down. There are people in our life that we've loved, that we cared for. I promise you, when it came down to it, and you recognize that this is not a person who has any kind of pull in their life, there is no direction that they want to grow in, there's nowhere they want to go, you will always feel like you have to pull for the entire relationship. And this will always cause chaos. This is not something that the INFJ will be happy with long term. The INFJ is a person with vision. The INFJ is somebody who's looking towards the future and wants to create a life for themselves. And they need somebody who wants that for themselves as well. We need to have a partner who wants to grow because that's the only way how we can make sure that we have enough energy to pull only ourselves. If we otherwise feel like we have to do the majority of the pulling and, the motivation and the direction of the entire relationship, it will weigh heavy on us. And it will be always something that will make us feel like this is not quite right. And quality number 5, we need somebody who's more of a giver than a taker. You as an INFJ will naturally tend to give. That's just part of our nature. There are people who do it more, who do it less. There's no such thing as people who are always giving. But most of the time, if we really look into unhealthy behavior, we INFJs go towards codependencies and we're attracted to people who go towards the narcissistic, direction. So if we want to have a healthy relationship, we have to make sure that we steer away from that. That doesn't mean that there won't be overlaps or that there will be situations like this. But if you naturally are going towards that route and you're actually attracted to these kinds of people, like people with narcissistic tendencies, you have to take a step back and understand that yes, this might be what you're first attracted to, but this is probably not what's going to give you a fulfilled relationship long term. And so we have to give ourselves the space and the opportunity to test out how it's going to be like to, be with somebody who's not like this. And it will be uncomfortable, it will be, unfamiliar, but I promise you this feeling will fade. And after that, you will have safety. You will have something that is still exciting, but it doesn't really, create this toxic dynamic that so many INFJs have been used to by having narcissists in their life and people who want the attention all the time on them. One of the ways to make sure that we prioritize ourselves is to become not only aware of what we want, but to continuously take actions to anchor in the person we want to be. If you want some guidelines into how to get that process started, then check out the free poster on the INFJ Epic Life formula. And if you want to go deeper and make some major changes in your life, then check out the INFJ Epic Life audio guide. Everything you need to know you can find in the links in the description. And if you want to watch another video now that is in alignment with today's topic, then watch the video Why the INFJ Can't Seem to Find a Partner.